you go to play poker, it's war. And that may be why a lot of women, are not as comfortable with it, because it is war, and and particularly in tournament poker, you
Right.
have to be willing to die in
Right.
order to live. and
Absolutely.
and and a lot of women, and I come to the table basically, and I'm like dead money for a lot of people if they don't know me, because she's an old lady. She plays old lady poker. The minute an ace hits the table, for all you poker guys, oh yeah, she's got an ace, we'll fold right like that. Or yeah, she's representing ace king. I only play two hands, like ace king, aces. That's me. I never win with aces, and if they knew that, they would they would actually call me. But yeah, I mean, they never expect me to play like they do.
Yes.
And then when they found out, then when they find out that I actually raise with seven deuce on the button, and I win because the flop went in my favor, they go, "How could you play that?" And I say, "Well, I play that because you play that." And I have played with everybody from a Supreme Court justice to people who are making their living at poker. And the last place I played in DC got held up at gunpoint.
Oh my goodness.
It was
This
famous.
is,
Yeah.
are you saying this is something that recently happened or back when
No,
the,
no,
okay,
a
okay,
few years ago. But I'm
okay.
just saying, I used to climb three flights of a rusty staircase, and my dear poker buddies would look after me because it was in a back alley, and it was faced a car park, and there was garbage there, and it smelled of the restaurants below. And so I would call them when I was going to come, and then they would take me up the stairs, and that's all in Bluff. That whole scene is in Bluff
Wow. Okay.
because I went underground in the novel. I went underground, and in the novel, my the brother of Maud died of drug addiction. So she always she always had a horror of drug people. And then in the novel, she finds out that, well, people are very multifaceted. And
Yes.
she goes underground as the biggest criminal of all because
Okay.
she's wanted for shooting a guy in broad daylight in the middle of a restaurant.
Hmm.
That's what she does. And she finds that the people who, when you have a life, you have many facets to your life.
Right.
And so she finds that she's depending on the people that she kind of snooted before because she didn't really understand that, people have to do what they have to do at certain points, and it doesn't make them bad people.
Yes. Yes. Do all of your novels take a small or maybe a large element of your personal life?
Yes. And in fact, Social Crimes
Hmm.
is about everyone I knew. And when people read it, they want to know who was who. Because in high society now there's a program on right now about Truman Capote and his swans,
Hmm.
and it's a marvelous show on FX. And I knew all those people. I'm
Wow.
so old. I used to people are like a lot of my friends, are holding on to their looks by a scalpel. I've tried the scalpel. That's fine. It's really not going to change the fact that I'm 77 years old. I'm kind of proud of it. But when I go to the poker game, people kind of tiptoe around and I say, look, I'm a vampire. Just face it. All right. And sometimes I'll look at some of the grizzled old guys that and they'll say they're like 60, and I'll go, you know what? I'm like, I could be your mother, and I look younger than you, so screw that.
Did you ever play with like Doyle Brunson or any of the guys, the pioneers in the poker community?
I have played with Antonio Esfandiari. I haven't Doyle Brunson. Where were we? I think I was at the Rio when they gave Doyle his a big celebration. So
Yes.
I met him. I
Okay.
met him. What an honor, right?
Yes.
Um, I'm not really old enough for Stu Younger. Okay.
Okay.
I missed him.
Okay.
But sure, you play when you play in the World Series, which I have for many years. I think I started playing poker in 2016, maybe, and you meet these guys,
Yeah.
um, and actually, the higher they are, the nicer they are.
Okay.
Phil Hellmuth, for example, has this reputation of being, wild and everything. One of my closest friends, a lawyer, Linda Kenny Bodden, who has played with Phil, says he's just one of the nicest guys who ever lived. He's adorable. But everybody has their kind of persona at
Yeah.
the table, right? So mine is a little old lady. I'm just a little, don't know anything about it. But it's just so fun for me, you
Yeah.
know?
And as you mentioned earlier, you take that into advantage because they think that you're going to play a specific way, but behind
Totally.
everything, you're actually playing the same cards that they think you're never in a million years are you going to be playing. So, like you said, an ace comes on the flop. If they have queens, they're probably
Oh,
flipping folding to you.
scatter like the butterflies. That's it. But also, I mean, older women in general, I say this in the book, older women are invisible and we don't even have to disappear.
Mhm.
I mean, because we are basically, many of us are invisible to society in general. But poker is male dominated, and what's funny about it, there is a scene in a casino where she sits down, and everybody thinks, oh, this is, they're going cha-ching. That's when I would sit down in casinos, and these old guys, would say, oh, cha-ching, we're going to get her, and sometimes they do get me, of course, because it's not that they don't know how to play. It's just that underestimating somebody at any time in
Yeah,
life, at a poker table, I mean, any area of life, when you underestimate somebody, you are in peril. That's
yeah,
all I can tell you. People
absolutely.